I'm Michael Swain. I'm one of the two fellows working on the game Madness Project Nexus 2. What is Madness Project Nexus 2? Well, let's tackle that right now. It's a tactical combat game based on fast-paced run-and-gun shooters mixed with really bloody, just horrendous, brutal beat-em-up type games in the vein of Final Fight or Castle Crashers. Throw in some elements of games like Smash TV for that kind of hypey, publicized vibe, and you kind of have an understanding of where we're going with this game. Now, before we get into too many details on Project Nexus 2, I want to answer one quick question, which is, where's Project Nexus 1? What is it? Where do I find this miraculous game that doesn't seem to exist on Steam or Xbox Live? Or how do I find it? I don't know what to do. I got the solution for you, alright, you Dumbo? It's not.
Project Nexus is a free-to-play, 2D side-scrolling shooter created by me and my good friend and colleague, Matt Jolly, also known by the Newgrounds and DeviantArt community as Crinkles. Project Nexus was produced out of pocket in Adobe Flash, and found its home on Newgrounds.com in March of 2012. Much like the game we're making now, the original Nexus let you blast through stage after stage of disciplined bad guys, zombies, armored juggernauts, and all kinds of gun-toting thugs in your quest to bring down a massive, conspiratorial soldier-cloning program. For a Flash game, it was huge, but we had bigger dreams for it still. However, Flash could not support the game we were trying to make, just wasn't equipped to handle it. So updates to Project Nexus ceased, and it remained only half the game we intended. At the time we just figured, well, that's that. Then we discovered Unity. Suddenly we had at our disposal a very powerful 3D engine that could match the level of our ambition. With the possibility of the massive game we'd always intended right in front of us, Crinkles and I leapt on board without a second thought.
Alright, next up, let's talk about gameplay. The gameplay in Project Nexus 2 is primarily played through the third person controlling a single unit. A lot of times you'll be able to cycle between other characters because you're going to have a squad following you a lot of the ways through the game. Sometimes handpicked, sometimes story-oriented, and at times you'll also be able to swap between them, controlling multiple people, such as in our Zed survival mode, where you don't control one single person, but are actually responsible for the survival of an entire group of people, survivors trying to make it in the zombie wastelands. So Crinkles and I are intending 3 main game modes when this game is released at launch, and they are as follows.
Story mode. Battle your way to the center of the Nexus conspiracy, and discover the secrets of Project Nexus. Arena mode. Construct your ideal character from scratch and participate wave after wave in Project Nexus's soldier training program. Zed survival mode. Our zombie horror campaign, where you travel from town to town, city to city, and across the wastes in a randomly generated world, always staying ahead of the surging undead menace.
We have plans for many other game modes, but ultimately that depends a lot on the kind of backing and funding that we get to make this project a reality. And one such feature is multiplayer, which is of grave concern to us. So the majority of the game is going to be played through combat, far as the eye can see. So why don't we go take a look at some of that combat right now.
Dual wielding. Blow through more ammo by grabbing 2 firearms, become a 2-sword killing machine, or mix and match as you see fit to maximize the best of both worlds. Tac bar. It's like a bullet shield made of pure reflex. Characters with a high tac bar duck out of the way of incoming fire. So, rather than blocking attacks like a traditional shield in other games, all new tactics options open up to the players, such as lining up as many opponents as possible so that every single bullet is a shot that each of them must dodge. Shoot dodging. Let out your inner John Woo and make it behind cover in time to avoid annihilation. Take cover. Fire around corners and over the tops of crates and barriers. Ranged weapon sweet spots. The further the target, the less likely you are to hit them. But let a target come too close, and you'll find hitting them nearly impossible. The trick is to keep your enemies inside your weapon's sweet spot, which keeps recoil down and tac bar damage maximized. Now your choice of rifle versus sidearm will make all the difference. Boss fights. Some enemies aren't powerful because they've got advanced attack patterns or know when to avoid your return fire. Many are outright brutish monstrosities which require you to think on your toes and use the environment to maximum advantage. the arsenal. Let's not forget the hundreds of weapons we're including in the initial launch, and the many more to come afterwards. From dinky little pistols to heavy machine guns, pipe wrenches to dragon-slaying greatswords. You're gonna need all the help you can get to bring down the denizens of Project Nexus. Plus, you'll have the option to modify nearly any firearm with suppressors, scopes, red dots, laser sights, bayonets, flashlights, and more. And weapon modification doesn't stop there. In Zed survival mode, you'll often depend on crafting makeshift weapons from junk, spare gun parts, tape, glue, and spit to produce your own twisted creations. Shotgun barrel on a pistol frame, which shoots grenades? Why not?
Well, thanks for watching. I hope that I've cleared up some of what this project has been all about. You're going to hear from us again soon when we publicly announce the dates for our Kickstarter campaign, which we're going to be using to fund this project. See you guys on ProjectNexus2.com, and what's a good thing to say there? And rock on, and keep on trucking. Like that. Keep on. Nobody says that. See you guys on Project Nexus 2, and keep on trucking.